Hi everyone, welcome to another video in AB Analytica. This is the part 2 in our web scraping with Python series. In the first video, we saw how to scrape a basic web page. In this video, we will see how to traverse through a much more complex HTML page and scrape data from table and other elements. We will also look at how to save the scraped data in CSV or JSON format. So first step is installing the libraries. We will use request and beautiful soup for web scraping. If you want to know more about these libraries and how to install them, you can check out the previous video. Let's import the dependencies. Now let's set up the URL. For this project, I have selected that we will scrape this web page. This is a Formula One driver standing for the current season as of now. So I have split the URL into two parts. One is base URL and the second part is the extension. So if there are multiple endpoints in a URL which you want to scrape, then this is a good practice. And also like if there is pagination, you can add the page number also, something like this, slash page equal to, and then you can use a variable to save the page number and then you can iterate over it. We won't be doing that in this video. So let's set up the base URL and the URL. Next is scraping the page. That we will do it by using get function of requests. Scraping is done. Now let's see the status code. We can see that the status code is 200. That is the OK HTTP response. Next, we will have a glance at the content. Okay, this is the scraped content. Now let's parse the response with the beautiful soup, and also we will display it. So this is the parsed content. Now let's traverse through the HTML and find the required items. So this is the page. Now let's check for H1 tags. So now you can see like there is an H1 tag with 2024 driver standings. So now that we have this data, we are sure that we have scraped the appropriate page. Now let's scrape some data from the navigation bar. So this is a navigation bar. So if you just right click and click on inspect or use the developer tool in Chrome, you can see the details. This is the navigation bar, and inside that we have these details. Let's first extract these data. So that we can do by using the findAll function. Let's see. So when we scrape all the navigation bar, it looks something like this. So let's have a look at how many navigation bars are fetched by using the length of the array. And we know that there are two navigation bars which are fetched. Let's have a look at each of them separately. This is the first navigation bar. So this does not seem to have the data which we are looking to scrape. Let's have a look at the second element. So just go through it once and see, and we can convert it to text also, get the text also. Okay, so it has latest video unlocked, like everything, like these are the headings of each tab in the navigation bar. So this is the appropriate one, or else you can go to the nav bar and you can see the labels. So these labels can also be used to identify the appropriate tag in this area label equal to primary navigation. So this is a label which can be used to identify exactly this nav element. We can use find and then we can give the element type, that is a nav element navigation bar, and then we can pass in the label and the value as a dictionary, so that will also return the same element. So now let's have a look at the element which we have, and if we go back to the browser, we can see that inside navigation bar there is an unordered list ul, and inside that there is an li, and each li corresponds to an item in the navigation bar. So let's have a look at the list items. So from the navigation bar element we can find all li items, and we can have a check. So there are 9 list items in the navigation bar. We can cross check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So this is the exact details which we require, and let's have a look at the first list item by the giving the array. So now we can see that inside the list item there is an anchor tag, and inside the anchor tag there are multiple span items, and here is the data which we require, that is latest. We can get the text by just by using dot text. We don't have to traverse through the entire span items. We can just give text and we will get that, and we can do that for the all nav items. So we can save them in a dictionary, sorry, in a list, and this nav dot find all list item will return a list of all list items within the nav bar. So we can iterate through that for item in nav dot find all items, and from within the item we can get the text. So this will be the text. For example, latest will be the text from the first item. So we will save all the text in the items list which we have created, the empty list. Once it is done, we can output the items. So now we can see that we have scraped all the items from the unordered list, which forms the navigation bar. These tab headings have been scraped. Now let's scrape our main item, that is this driver standings table. So now we can see that the entire table is within a table tag. So we will go and we will scrape the tables. So let's this command will return all the tables. We will find how many tables are there using the len method. There is only one table, so we don't have to iterate through the tables, or we don't have to specify any extra information to identify the specific table. If the website you are scraping has multiple tables, you will have to somehow identify the table either by iterating through all tables in the array, or by using any other class name or any other attribute which identifies that table. In the case of this web page, there is only one table. We will get that table and we will save it in the tables variable. The table has two parts. One is table header and then the table body. So this is the table, and it has t head and t body. The head is, that is position, driver, nationality, car. These are inside a row which has multiple ths. Now let's find the headers. We can use the table, and from that we can find the t head. Let's print the t head. Okay, so this is t head, and from that we can get the row. There will be only one row. This is the only row in that, and from that we can find all th. Okay, there are multiple ths. We can iterate through all the ths, and inside each th there is the heading. There is a position. This is in the first th. There is driver in the second th. There is nationality in the third th. And if you go back and you can see the web page also, there is position, driver, nationality, car, points in as each table header. Let's go back, and now we are iterating to the table headers. Let's make a header list, which is an empty list, and we will append each header into the header list. Now let's see the header list. So we have scraped the 5 items from the headers. Now let's go to the data part. I will call a make a variable t body, and we'll add the table body into that. Let's have a look at the t body, and let's have a look at the structure in the web page also. So we are done with the t head part. Now let's have a look at the t body. So it has multiple rows. Let's go to the code and fetch the first row .tr. Now we can see the first row, and inside the t row we can see there are multiple td. So we can see that here also there are multiple td. So there the first td has the position 1. The second td has the name Max Verstappen. So inside the first td there is a paragraph tag, and inside that there is an anchor tag. That is this is a link. It will go to the page for the driver. We will scrape that also, and inside that there are two spans. In first span there is first name, that is Max, and the second name, that is Verstappen, and there is another span which has the driver abbreviation. We will scrape all these data. There is only one header, driver, but it has 4 columns, and then nationality is there. So inside nationality there is a paragraph, and inside that there is the country acronym. Next is car. It contains a p tag. Inside that there is an anchor tag, and there is a link to the team page, and also the name of the constructor, the car manufacturer. And then the last td element contains the points 331. So this is the structure of the t body. Now let's go back. First one, we can just get td and give a text. We should get the position. Okay, and let's have a look at the second element. So for that, from the first row we have to do a find all, and we will use td. And for the second element we have to pass in the index, which is 1. This is the second element. So I have just made the first one also consistent with the this format so that we can later iterate through the each TD element. Okay, for the first element it is 0, so position is 1, so that is done. So now we are at the second TD element, and if we give a text it will be okay like this. Either we can use this text and then we can do some string operations to split the text and get these three individual items, or else we can go and we can grab the span. Let's have a look at this, and it has a p element. Let's fetch the p element. Okay, so inside p element there are some spans, so we will just go find all and let's search span. There are three span elements. Okay, and if we go for the first span element, it is the first name. We will give it a convert it to text. So now we have the first name. We'll save it in a variable, and second name, or yeah, last name in this case. And also there is the third span. It has the abbreviation. Okay, so now we have got all the three required data from the spans, but there is another important data which we require, that is the href, that is the link to the page. Let's find the anchor tag, and from that we can grab the href. This is the link to the driver page. So now we have all the data which we require from the second TD element. We'll save it along with the position, and next we will look at the third TD element, and from this we only require the country code, so that we can get by using text. We'll save it as country. Now let's have a look at the next TD element, 3. This is the team name. We can see that this has not just the name, it has a link also. Let's grab the link also. So for that we will have a look at the TD element. So inside the TD element there is an A tag, and inside the A tag we can find the href, and the href is the thing which we are interested in, dot A, and from that we will get the href. So now we have the team link. Can save that also in a variable, and let's have a look at the next one. It has the position, so just by using a dot text we can get the position. Oh sorry, it is points. Let's save that also in a variable. So now we have extracted everything for the first element. First maybe like we can say driver. So each row contains one driver information. So we can call this part as a driver. So these are each row. So each row contains details of one driver. So let's have a look how many drivers are there. There are 22 drivers. So we should have the length of this drivers array should be 22. It is 22, and we can have a look at the last driver and the first driver, and then we can confirm. We'll just do a dot text and see. Okay, it's number 22 and it is Valtteri, so it is fine. Now let's iterate through all the drivers, and we can use this part to get the position. And we can use a position list to save the position of all drivers. We can instantiate it as an empty list. So now we have seen we have copied all the positions of each driver from the table. Now we have to continue this for each element. I have created one empty list for each element. So next we have to append each item to the list. First, let's do the first name. So for that, now we have to go and get it from the uh, previous one which we have done. So repeat the same process for every other item. So I have repeated that for all the elements. Now let's run it once and let's have a look at some random list. Let's have a look at the team name list. Okay, so everything is fine. Let's have a look at last name. So now everything seems to be fine. So next we have to create a dictionary with the column name and the content. The content will be the list and the column name we have to define. So I have created this driver dict, and next we can create a data frame. For that we will require pandas. So let's import pandas also. Oh, I have imported pandas as PD. We can make a data frame using pd.dataframe, and we can pass the dictionary, which is driver dict, and this will create a data frame. I will just call it a driver df. Let's have a look at the data frame. Okay, so now we have all the data available in the data frame. Team links are not complete. It's actually uh, the sublink, not the entire link. So for that, we have defined the base URL earlier. So this has to be prefixed before the link. so that we can add it here, base URL plus, this should work. And for the team link also we will add base URL plus. Let's run it again and we will see that again. Okay, so now the URLs are also properly scraped. Instead of scraping each column into a list, we can also scrape all the rows, that is all data related to the first position, that is for Max Verstappen. We can save it in one and then we can pass it, and then we can create it by using the data and columns. So that I will show you now. So for that we can save all the rows as all the rows from T-body as rows. Let's have a look at the elements in the first row. Yeah, there are 5 elements. So as we have seen earlier, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we can scrape the data for each item as we did earlier in this step. So that we can do for all rows, and we can save all the data in each in variables, and then we can append that to a data array, which will be a two-dimensional array. So all items for the first driver will be in a single row, and then we can create the names of the columns, and we can use this format to create a data frame by passing the data, which is a 2D array, and the column names. So this will also give the same output. So depending upon the convenience, you can use either this method or by using the dictionary method to create the array. Now let's see how to save the data. We can save the data as JSON format by using toJSON function of pandas, or by using the toCSV, so that we can save it as a CSV file. There are other methods also to save data. So those I will discuss in later videos. And if you have any comments or if you have any suggestions, please let me know it in the comments. Please give a like if you learned something from this video. Thank you.